Hello, welcome everyone to Vendo's very first podcast. Super excited to be here. I'm here with our CEO, Darren Saul, and my name is Nicolas Martinez. I'm the senior marketing strategist. And yeah, again, very excited. The point of this podcast is going to be to share expertise and knowledge about topics that we're passionate about. Today's first podcast, we're going to tell you a little bit about Vendo, who we are, who our team is, what we do. And then we're going to go into a COVID-19 discussion, talking about some of the issues that sellers are facing on Amazon right now due to the virus, logistical issues, marketing issues, advertising, and some of our tips and tricks and knowledge to overcome those obstacles, and not just overcome them and get back to where you were, but to continue that hyper growth that we know you're aiming for. So without further ado, Darren, feel free to take it away.
Yeah, no, thanks, Nick. Really excited to launch this first podcast for Vendo. Vendo was founded to help brands basically take control of their business online and sell more. That's why we like to say protect your brand and sell more. Basically, we've set up kind of a structure where Vendo acts as your outsourced team against certain marketplace channels like Amazon and Walmart.com and Amazon International. We're basically your global experts to help with everything from customer service to channel control, SEO optimization, creative, data analytics, logistics, and media buying being one of the most important factors of driving growth on Amazon. We're fueled by passionate e-commerce experts, a team that loves to continue to evolve as this ever-changing world of e-commerce does, and just very excited that Vendo is now stepping out there and putting our thought leadership into the world, because we've been keeping it our secret sauce, as some of our former teammates like to say, and now we've turned it into our magic recipe. And very excited for this first conversation for Nick to cover what it's like managing your business on Amazon during COVID-19 and how to go about doing that. And then future topics are going to range everything from covering media buying, managing Walmart.com during this crisis, and everything on SEO optimization. A lot of other fun topics. Our biggest goal with this podcast is to make sure the audience gets value from what we're talking about, because we're going to put a lot of great, and as Raul on our team likes to say, dangerous knowledge out there, but it's up to everybody to execute. We feel nobody executes better than the team at Vendo. So with that, Nick, I think it'd be great to dive into managing your business during COVID-19 on Amazon specifically. And probably a first good topic to start out with are trends.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the biggest trends you see is working remote, right? I mean, that's why we're here with this virtual background right now.
Right.
It makes it look like we're at our office and we're not social distancing, but I can assure you that we are in the comforts of our homes, aided by Zoom during this. But yeah, so some of the trends we're seeing during coronavirus, of course, as far as categories go, it's the health and wellness categories, the supplement categories, the grocery categories. Those understandably are doing very well right now. They're in high demand. They're being prioritized by Amazon for shipping. So they're getting in the most customers' hands right now. But there's other product categories that maybe won't come to mind naturally, that are also seeing an uptick. Toys and games, with all the children at home, having to, be homeschooled now and having more times on their hands, parents buying toys and games, baking, do-it-yourself type products are really on the rise, arts and crafts. So, you kind of have to keep an open mind and think of different ways to, leverage this for your brand or for your Amazon store, and figure out how to overcome some of these obstacles, because there are some unique product categories out there that you can get involved with and really push forward. Another trend that we're seeing right now is with the older demographic. So if you look at the 55 plus age range right now, 55 and up, you see a lot more of those people shopping e-commerce right now. And it makes a lot of sense why. Of course, less people are going out to the store, and now kind of being forced to shop from home. If you can't go to the store, you don't want to, well, you have to get things delivered, right? So you're seeing this new demographic that hadn't purchased online a lot before, maybe didn't even have an Amazon account, or if they did, they used it rarely. Probably didn't, purchase groceries delivered, and so they're getting accustomed to these new ways of purchasing, and that of course is driving demand right now in the short term, but in the long term, I think at Vendo we really see Amazon and Walmart.com and other e-commerce platforms coming out very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another interesting trend to see is Amazon even stopping to push a lot of ancillary non-essential items, changing their own platform to not show you bought with this, bought with that, and also keeping up with demand from, the constraints on inventory, et cetera, which we'll talk about next in logistics. But really interesting to see the evolution of all marketplace apps. Walmart changing, pushing grocery online pickup, Target with their in-store, and starting to launch some satellite stores for pickup. Amazon's trying to keep pace, and it's very interesting to see what they're doing from a hiring and logistics perspective to keep up with the crisis and the demand that's going on. So with that, let's dive into logistics and talk about some trends and things you're seeing there, and the way Vendo can also help our brands with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so long story short, a lot of products right now, consumers cannot get delivered to them and that fast speed that they've learned to love. That free 2-day prime shipping is just not available for a lot of products. Shipping of products is actually up 40% now at Amazon. They're likening it to the busy holiday season, but of course with a lot of other variables on top of that. So shipping's up 40%, but yet a lot of products you can't get into your hands. And so some trends that we're seeing because of this is we're seeing consumers have to be a lot more flexible with the brands that they're choosing. So an interesting stat that I saw recently was that new to brand customers are actually converting at a 20% higher rate than they were in Q4 of 2019. So they're converting at about 12% compared to 10%. And then new to brand order volume is actually up 100% in Q2 compared to Q4. So, customers are learning that they've got to go out of their comfort zones. They've got to try new brands, try new different alternative products, complementary products. And this does open the doors up for a lot of new entrants to the market, or maybe for some smaller brands to start capitalizing on that. But kind of going back to some of the logistical constraints that are causing this, again, as I mentioned earlier, the different categories that are being categorized. So if you're not in those categories, you most likely cannot send product inbound to FBA. So you can't actually keep your product stored there for fulfillment and shipping. And then if you do have product at their warehouses outbound to consumers, the shipping timeline again is much longer. So what you're seeing now is you're seeing a lot of brands and sellers have to add on an FBM option. And for those of you who aren't familiar with FBM, or FMFN as Amazon sometimes calls it, it's fulfilled by merchant. So for brands that have warehouses, have 3PLs ready to go, and already do this maybe for their direct-to-consumer site, it's not too much of a learning curve or a growing pain. But for those that didn't have that set up, they're kind of scrambling right now. And and one of the things, Darren, if you want to tell them about some of our capabilities with FBM.
Yeah, absolutely.
The warehouse. Yeah.
Sure. So shameless plug here, right? Insert shameless plug here. but no, in all seriousness, I mean, this acts twofold. One is letting you know that Vendo can obviously help with our 2 warehouses to fulfill, set up the FBM listings, manage everything from pick, pack, and shipping out, customer service part of that. I think a big call out when you're setting up FBM is making sure your health metrics maintained, and that's with your late shipment rate and things of that nature. Setting up your handling time, it's something I encourage all of our team to look at first when setting up an FBM listing, is making sure you're putting the right handling time change in the back end when you're setting up your product listing. So that's very important. But FBM, I think, is really picked up steam because the Prime badge no longer means what it used to, at least during this crisis, which is interesting. So Vendo can absolutely help you through their 2 warehouses to pick up and set up, fulfilled by merchant for all of your logistics needs. Nick, I didn't know from there if you wanted to talk a little bit about some marketing and advertising trends, or if you had anything else to add on the logistics side.
Yeah, well, it kind of goes into the marketing side of things, but still on logistics. You know, as you're going through these changes to FBM, you're probably seeing that, you know, your margins are being affected, of course, probably maybe for the worse, right? And so
Sure.
some ways that you can save money on your margin during this time, you know, the low-hanging fruit, find affordable shipping options, right? And really do your research on that. Understand that you can adjust the shipping templates for your products. So you don't have to do second day air options. You know, maybe you don't even want to do standard FedEx or UPS because that comes with surcharges. You know, we recommend exploring some flat rate options, 1 to 3 day flat rate options, you know, typically around $7 to $8. That might be you know, something that you might want to consider. Another way to save money on your margin is to consolidate your packaging. You know, maybe you can take your products and put them in a smaller mailing envelope or an envelope, whereas you weren't able to do that before with FBA, or you just hadn't considered it before with FBA. And then also a trend that we're seeing and that you can tap into is you can consider selling larger sized, higher priced products. So people are more than ever willing to buy in bulk right now. You know, because the shipping timelines are so long, they want to stock up. So
Right.
instead of selling just, you know, one unit of something, sell that whole case that you have, and now you can sell a full case and have that be a listing rather than breaking it down. And you can also save some money on shipping there, drive up order size, and potentially drive up customer lifetime value too if they really love that product.
Yeah, those are great call outs, by the way. Another aspect of that, when you talk bundling, you know, Amazon released their virtual bundling program. So I'd encourage anybody in the audience who's looking at their account, if you've got brand registry set up, if you're not part of that program, feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to help walk you through how you do get involved in that program and how it all works. Because that's a great way to save on your own logistics costs. You don't have to package or bundle it yourself anymore. Amazon will do all the work for you.
Yeah, 100%. And if you haven't seen that in your platform, in your Seller Central platform, you probably just need to go into the settings and activate it. I did notice that with some accounts, but yeah, and then, you know, it's something that is pretty straightforward, but sometimes goes missed when people switch from FBA to FBM is free shipping. Amazon consumers, e-commerce consumers in general, are so used to free shipping. You know, they almost feel entitled to it, and it's understandable. So consider including the shipping cost in your sale price, in your list price, but also remember that you will get that 15% referral fee off of that increased price. So consider that when you're looking at your margin and whether adding free shipping is going to be the way to go. But you know what, even if you go through this exercise and you don't end up gaining much traction with FBM, or FBA ends up coming through and your shipping timelines are back how they used to be, FBM's a great backup to have ready to go. You know, you never know when you're going to go. I mean, you should know when you're going to go out of stock, but you never know when another pandemic or something totally unpredictable would happen. But even just the regular day-to-day type of events of, you know, a surge in orders all of a sudden that you weren't expecting, and now, you know, you're out of stock that one time of the year, and your FBM listings can kick in right away, so you never lose a sale. And you know, that's one of our big beliefs here too at Vendo, is never lose a sale, right? And that means
Absolutely.
always having some units available, whether FBA or FBM.
Yeah, I think it's become standard practice for us when we're setting up listings to do both FBA and FBM listings as a backup to take over. And then, you know, there's other constraints when it comes to not being able to leverage FBA during the multiple season, like we're rolling into now for a lot of clients.
Mm-hmm.
So another
Great
call
point.
out, yeah, even without COVID-19, there's some challenges for non-shelf stable or multiple products. Again, that's an aspect we can certainly help with and navigate. Even if there's not cold chain storage solutions through us, we definitely have referral partners and different solutions to help you navigate that process as we get into that season. Let's talk. Let's move on and talk a little bit about the marketing and advertising part of what's going on in COVID-19 and how things are being affected, and what we can do to counterbalance that.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of you have probably noticed that in Amazon's toolbox, a lot of the promotional opportunities have been restricted right now. They're not accepting new coupons. They're not accepting new lightning deals, new 7-day deals. So you're a bit more limited in what you can do to promote within Amazon's ecosystem. You can still create promotional discount codes, and you can make those a bit more visible by putting some call outs in your image gallery or your bullets. Do note that that isn't terms of service, but a lot of brands are usually okay doing that. But that's one way. You can do a traditional sale, just a price cut. You can still do the social media promo link option, which falls under Seller Central promotions, but that's more tied into external strategy. And so I think that's a good transition into talking about external strategy, which is more important than ever right now. And by external, I mean driving external traffic into the Amazon marketplace to purchase your product. And we do a lot with external. Whether it's Facebook ads, Instagram ads, leveraging ManyChat bots through Facebook. We're starting to explore TikTok and Pinterest. You don't want to be restricted by just the tools that Amazon gives you. And I think that it's always important to take a step back and look at your Amazon business as if it were your direct-to-consumer website, or your storefront, actually brick and mortar storefront. You're not just going to be restricted by the tools that the landlord of that mall gives you, or something like that. So keep an open mind, consider different ways to drive traffic, especially during this time. If you haven't had a chance to set up Facebook ads and test driving that to Amazon, now's probably a great time to do that. A lot of advertisers are pulling out, which is making it more affordable to advertise on these platforms. Maybe you have more time on your hands now that you're on quarantine, and so now you can actually set up these different campaigns and test it out. And we'll have some more podcasts in the future going into more of the nitty-gritty technical aspects of external traffic being driven through marketing and advertising to Amazon. In fact, I think one of our podcasts in the next couple episodes will be on that topic, so be sure to check it out. But yeah, just influencer marketing too. If you haven't done that to drive your Amazon business, we've got a great case study on our website actually about how a brand saw, I don't know how many 1,000% ROI on that, but driving to Amazon. So yeah, just know that there are tons of marketing opportunities available, and that this is a good opportunity to kind of think outside the box of Amazon.
Yeah, that lot of knowledge drop there, which I appreciate, Nick. That's awesome. That's just a good example of how we're approaching different, unique, outside the box ways to grow your business on Amazon by utilizing the 3-to-1 ratio that you get by driving traffic off of Amazon back there. Anything else, Nick, in terms of on the marketing or advertising side of trends, be it social media influencer marketing, Snapchat. There's a lot of different platforms I think a lot of brands don't ever think about using when it comes to driving and growing their business on Amazon, that I know we're utilizing at Vendo, which can get quite complex, whether it's ManyChat bots like you talked about, or any of the other external strategies. Is there anything you think that's of value to our audience to note they're not thinking about that they should be thinking about when it comes to growing their business?
Well, I lightly mentioned it before, but Pinterest we've started to explore recently, and we're seeing a lot of traction very quickly. I mean, within 1 month, over 300,000 views on some branded content, some lifestyle content. Using Pixelify Me super URLs, or Supreme URLs as they call them, to drive that person from that Pinterest post to the Amazon product page, where ideally they would convert. And with that Pixelify link, You're able to target a keyword, boost up your ranking. If you put a landing page in between, which I do recommend, or at least something in between to help protect that conversion rate, because you don't want to just drive a bunch of people to your product page and unqualified and have them bounce, because that could actually end up hurting you more than it could help you. So having a landing page in between there, if you're using Facebook, having a ManyChat bot in between that that product page. But yeah, again, we'll go into more details in a couple episodes and really get into the nitty gritty. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially the Pinterest call out. Most people aren't thinking about some of these other channels, whether it's Reddit, Pinterest, or
Reddit,
other
yeah.
channels. Yeah, other channels to drive traffic from. So that's very helpful. One topic we didn't cover today that we will talk about in depth on other podcasts is, channel control. When we talk about the protect your brand aspect of protect your brand and sell more, channel control is still very important. So want to make sure our audience is paying attention to their listings. If they haven't employed software already to track and make sure that your listings aren't being hijacked or your content isn't being changed without your knowledge, definitely keep eyes on that. We'll put links and are always available, as I said earlier in the podcast, to help if you want to reach out and just pick our brain or talk to us about how we can help in that respect. Please definitely contact us through our website at vendocommerce.com. You can also reach us at hello@vendocommerce.com. We've got a great business development team, as well as our entire supporting team across all of our offices to help with all of your marketplace needs. Nick, you want to take us home with some key takeaways?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, FBM, get that set up if you haven't already. External marketing going to be more important than ever right now with all the promotional levers being restricted. And I think something we actually didn't touch on, but does sum up this topic, these topics pretty well is just monitoring and managing all of the data and incoming reviews and seller feedback. It's a tumultuous time right now for people. And so with that comes a lot of, understandably some anger or upset, them being upset. So watch those reviews. Negative reviews are on the rise. Seller feedback is on the rise.
Yep.
If have some type of automation or somebody on top of that daily, definitely want to get ahead of that.
No, that's a great call out. So this has been fantastic. Great starting conversation, opening to give you guys a little bit of glimpse into some of the teammates at Vendo. Myself and Nick, our very talented director of marketing. We'll have a lot of our other teammates featured on these episodes coming up. And please check out our blog and our case studies for some additional information on what we do and how we work. Nick, any final thoughts?
Yeah, well, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. We're on TikTok now. Check out our case studies at vendocommerce.com. We have some great case studies on there and blogs. And our handle across social media is Vendo or Vendo Commerce.
Awesome. Well, all right. Really appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to this. Remember, protect your brand and sell more. Nick, thanks very much for all that amazing information.
Yeah, thank you, Darren, and look forward to coming back for another episode.
Awesome. All right.